Welcome to the Curiosity and Connection podcast. I'm your host, Na. Today's guest is my friend and neighbor, Michelle. My curiosity question today is exploring sports growing up and help us understand how you got there or where you started.
I grew up in the country. For me, sports was a big part of my life. Not, I think, as much as suburban because I wasn't very competitive, but I did hockey, ringette, and curling. And I think those were the big ones. And then I also played a lot of intramural sports at school.
But was this like in terms of siblings, like your siblings played and then you wanted to model after them, or was this just like, I want to go into this, or your parents?
No, my parents. It was actually my mom. My mom was very heavily in sports. She almost
Mm.
went into kinesiology and dropped out after 1 year.
But like, how, like, she just asked you what kind of sports you were interested?
No, she signed me up.
Oh, wow. Like, how old were you when you started?
For ringette and hockey, I'm pretty young. I always like to say I could skate before I could walk.
What's wing it?
It's has a rubber circle with a stick,
Okay.
and you, like it's kinda like hockey, but with a ring. Yeah. It was, like, I think the answer ringette was kind of the answer of at the time because it was the '80s. Girls weren't supposed to be in sport because, we didn't have a hockey league that was girl-oriented. We only had the men, the boys, I guess. I did play 1 year with them, but I didn't really like it, so then I went into ringette.
But did you
I did ringette first, and then
but did you only stay in your town, or did you, like, branch out of, like, surrounding area?
when I had games, I would
Yeah.
branch out to surrounding area. I knew, like, Cambridge, Kitchener, Paris, that kinda stuff, but, no, it was mostly, like, out of Ayr, Ontario.
At any point when you were playing any one of those sports at a young age, did you just say, I'm sorry, not my this isn't for me?"
Well, I asked to join curling because my mom curled. I liked watching it, and I thought it would be cool to start it, and then they started a junior curling club at or junior curling league at Ayr, Curling Club. There was a point in which my parents kinda said, like, "We can't do this anymore," like, the driving and stuff like that to all the games and stuff. I think because there wasn't as many sports available in a small town, some of the sports that I probably would have liked to do, I wasn't able to do, which you probably could do now, like lacrosse, I really wanted to do. I remember really wanted to do speed skating when I saw it in the Olympics.
Right.
And then the other one I really wanted to do was we did it in intramurals in my, grade 7 or is it grade 6? Anyway, I played not lacrosse, field hockey, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Because of where I live, like, the closest, like, for practices and stuff, it was very hard for my parents to get me there because my brother was in hockey. My brother also did curling for a little bit, but he preferred hockey. And then I had, like, a sister that was quite sick.
Like, walk us through when you went from middle school to high school, and even after that, like, what were, like, the starting sports? And then in high school, what were the sports you transitioned
So
to?
the starting sport was hockey and skating of some sort. Like, I was, again, on ice all the time. I tried skiing, I didn't like it.
But for hockey, like, you started off skating first before you went into ice
Yeah,
hockey.
my mom was a ref.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so,
Think
like
naturally.
well, no, because she was a ref, she would bring me to all the games, like, all the local games, and then just, like, throw me on the ice while she went around because she had no babysitter, and then I sat in the penalty box, and just because then she knew where I was.
Mm.
Because of that, that's why I think I got into it so much.
Right.
Yeah, and then after that, we moved out of that town. That made it harder to, like, keep up. We did still continue curling, but at that point, there was no, like, availability for hockey and ringette.
Why did you still commit to it? Like, what was it about being in team sports that you enjoyed?
I don't know. At first, I think I just enjoyed, like, being on the ice and skating. I just loved the activity of it. I had some friends in it,
Mm.
but I was kind of always the youngest on the team because I was good, so I always kinda played a little bit higher up. But it was, like, that was awkward.
Being the youngest?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, just because 'cause they're older girls that were talking about things I didn't really understand.
Like, how young were you talking about in terms of age differences?
Big, but still, like, 2 years when you're 10 and a 8 is still a lot.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Then after that, we moved out of that small town of Ayr, and we moved to Bright, and then it just became harder to do, like, that traveling sport. So then we started doing I still did curling out of the curling club because that was still okay. But then by high school, I think just multiple reasons, like stuff that was happening at home. My mom got like sick and then it just became harder to like travel to places. I basically didn't do any sports in high school. Not like
Okay.
I did basketball and then I messed up my knee. And then after I messed up my knee, I had to take a year off. And then I just never really went back to sport. And it wasn't until I got into university that I started playing, like, a few sports, and then by the time I moved to Toronto, I found, like, gay leagues, which I found more supported in. I played, softball, which I did play softball when I was little too, but I didn't like it, but I liked it more as an adult, and then I also played, curling again.
But obviously, like the experience of with everything that was happening at home, did you miss the absence of sports
Uh,
in high school?
yeah, I think I did. I kinda, like, I yes and no. Like, I had my own stuff I was going on in my head. I was trying to find my own group, and my own group were kinda nerdy. Some of them were nerdy, and then some of them were, like, high all the time. I had 2 different groups. Once I figured out what group I was gonna hang out with, I kind of, like, just they weren't into sports, right? Because they weren't into sports, I was like, "Oh, if I start doing sports, then I'm like."
Yeah, you feel left out.
Yeah, I feel left out of all the events and stuff.
It's interesting how high school is such a
Also, I was very gay in high school. By then, I hadn't recognized it, but everybody else had. So it wasn't like I didn't really fit in with the jock crowd, but I fit in with, like, geeky people and when I mean geeky, I mean people that liked playing video games, people that liked board games, that kinda stuff, and then with the people that got high, they just got high.
well, that's what I mean. I think with high school, or at least my experience with high school was just not a great one. It was very
Yeah,
depressing. Kind of like
you went around here, right?
yeah, but kind of like yeah. I think high school it just had a lot of shit happening at home, and I like the mental health language wasn't there. But I was pretty sure in hindsight, looking back, I was severely depressed.
Yeah. I'll be honest, in high school, like, my parents said if you wanna do things, you have to pay for it. And I really wanna go to university. I worked a lot. Like, there was one point
Priorities.
yeah, priorities changed too. Like, there was one summer where I was working 80 to 90 hours
Oh my
a
god.
week, like, a flower nursery. Not a week, sorry, every other week.
Yeah.
For paycheck, I would have, like, 80, 90 hours on the paycheck,
Yeah.
and that was with going to school part-time at that point. It was just, like, I couldn't fit everything in and make money to, like, afford my everyday. I think that also changed. Because, like, a lot of my high school friends would be like, it didn't matter, like, they didn't have to do that financial constraint.
Yes.
It was priorities, I had to choose.
But having like that big absence and then re-exploring or reconnecting with the sports world again in university, how did that make you feel? Like,
It was an intramural, I wanna be honest, I'm not a varsity. I'm not that good. It was intramural. It felt good in the sense that it was, like, different people. And then I did it again through the queer because it was in Toronto, there's a lot of queer leagues, and I miss it now, but again, the same thing kinda happened. 1, I've gotten old, my knees are giving out, and then 2, like, I have 2 children, then it's now become about their sports and their stuff that they wanna do. So I've kind of given it up again because I did curl for the last, like 10-ish years, and then I had kinda had to give it up because it was like my whole Sunday would be shot, and then with 2 young kids, you can't do that.
going back to university, you're saying that when you were doing the intramural sports and then transitioning to the Toronto community where you found a lot of career space that allowed you to just play, how help us understand that navigation? Like, was there not a queer community in the university level or like
Not at
sports?
Western Ontario, not at Western, not really. There was a queer group, like a school group, but they weren't sports-oriented people, and there might have been in London, like a sports gay league, but I don't think so. No, not at that time. You gotta remember this is, like, early 2000s?
Yes.
Like, it's still like, it was more widely accepted, that's when the Queer as Folk was out and all that stuff, but it still wasn't like it is now. I had a gay group I hung out with, but, like
But going into sports, because like you were saying how like you were still figuring out your identity in high school, and like you said, your friends kind of suspected, but you had to choose between like, okay, this nerdy group or the the getting high group, but
Well, I chose both.
yeah, but neither one of them played sports,
No.
which was fine because you had other priorities going on. And then shifting that to university and then coming to Toronto where you had more options.
I didn't Toronto, I came in my master's.
Okay.
So my undergrad was in Western Ontario, sorry, at the University of Western Ontario, so whatever it's called now. I think it's just called Western University now. But that was where my undergrad was,
Mhm.
and London was basically, like, where I grew up, but just bigger. It still had the same mentality where, like, yeah, it was a little bit more accepting to queer people, but, like, it still wasn't great. Like, it still had that same feel.
What was your first exposure to sports with a queer space? Was it in London or was it in Toronto?
No, it was Toronto. It was Toronto.
What was the sport then?
I started with softball. It's called the Knoxville Amazon League. It's all
Mhm.
women. There were queer women, or I think my very first experience with it
How was it?
was great.
Yeah.
I love that league. It's just the one thing I have found about the queer leagues, they aren't in the West. They all seem to be in the East, but they're also very hard to get to.
Really? They're all the East?
Yeah, that one was at Riverdale.
Yeah.
And then the other one's at Broadview and Queen, which is that's where curling is, and then my other one is, like, at Withrow Park. It's, like, it's all east also now. That makes it hard for me to get to because I live in the West. But when I started, I had no family and stuff like that. I didn't even have a partner, right? Like, I just joined because I wanted to meet other queer people. I had a lot of fun doing it. A lot of the people have, like, that were a part of it have now, like, went off to live in different cities and different towns. It still exists, it just exists differently. But I highly recommend it. It was really nice to meet these people, and, like, they were, like, what I call a season in my life.
But how did you was it someone had suggested to you or
I
how did you just
Googled. Well, because after I graduated University of Toronto, I realized I didn't really have the queer community anymore. Like, when I was at University of Toronto, I had, like, the queer group, and then I had my master's individuals there. Like, when I joined the baseball league, it was just another thing.
transition to
Yeah,
keep that continuity going?
yeah.
What was it, especially obviously you're in different stages of your life, like you said, with the experience with ice hockey, you just was part of watching your mom rough, but you just love that
Yeah,
experience. And then curling was again, your mom played it,
yeah.
right?
My dad was not a sports guy.
Wow.
He's the like, you know how I talked about the geeky people? Like, he's the science fiction. Like, the reason why I know things about Doctor Who,
Where's Star Trek?
like, Star Wars, like, all that, that's my dad, and then my mom is the sports.
Oh wow, that is a really huge contrast. She doesn't even watch any of those shows, or does she share it?
No, they don't share that interest at all.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we're gonna have to like banter a different episode on just
They love home renovation, not watching the show on home reno but they just like doing
yeah, they have a
the show.
different common ground. Yeah. You said like, when you were playing hockey or even curling, what was it that kept that trend that continued throughout playing sports even when you transition from undergrad to masters to even like settling into Toronto? Like what was it about group sports or even team sports that you enjoyed?
I think if you do individual sport, it's a lot harder to get to know people. I also played soccer in there for a little bit too. It's just harder to get to know people. You don't get to, like, learn who they are or how they play or
Some people prefer individual sports, but it sounds like you lean more to like a community
I just never really played
individual sports.
individual sports. Like, I think like, I've been doing swimming now, and I enjoy it, like, a lot. I was never, "Let's go do a individual sport" kinda person.
Yeah. Even your brother was mostly a team sports.
Yeah, both all of us were team sports, even my mom.
But you said if you had that option because you wanted to do skating could have been an individual, but always
It was
yeah.
it's a little bit both, yeah. I think the only other individual sport I might have liked was running, but now it's like my knee is blown, it's not gonna happen.
So what were some of
Maybe
your
biking.
highs and lows, or just things you learned about yourself through playing
Team sport?
yeah, team sports, even like different stages in your life?
Uh, I think I use team sports, as you said, to find community. I think one of my lows was just realizing the community that I had found when I was in middle school wasn't really my community anymore. I think when I started realizing I was queer, I haven't put words to it yet, but I think I started realizing it. Not to say any of the people were mean or not nice to me,
Right.
it just wasn't my community. And then I think the one thing that I find odd that comes with sports, which I don't like, I always kind of question why I keep going back to team sports, is I don't like competitiveness. I'm not a competitive person.
Same.
I'm very much you would think I would wanna go to individual sports because if I don't care if I win or lose, then that's where I wanna be. I think the one thing I loved about team sport is how you rally around people, right?
Yeah.
Like, the first time I ever got my goal in soccer or the first time I, like, stopped a puck when I was played one game as a goalie. Don't ever I hated that.
I'm a receiver by nature. I like holding back. I'm really good at goalie and just catching.
Well, I played goalie and, I liked it for keeper for soccer, but I didn't like it in hockey. Hockey has too many things and I'm always uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
Yeah, for me, that I think was a key component to it is just
Mhm.
that camaraderie, that part of it. But I just I think it was finding the right community, and I do think it's seasons of your life, right? Like, even though I found it for a while at, like, the baseball and, like, we went out and we did things with all these different people and we kept in contact, eventually that season of my life was over. I moved on to the next thing. I could see myself going back potentially, maybe, but I think what I have discovered is, like, things are not permanent
Yes.
like, in sport, and, like, I like
Or in
that.
life in general.
Yeah, but sport specifically.
I think so too, but did you ever, outside of sports, did you ever find, a different outlet for exploring community? Like, were there any clubs, or was that sport
So,
always your go-to?
sport is easy, I will be
What's that?
honest. It's just easy to sign up for, easy to do, easy to pay money to do. I had the clubs in university that were queer related. I volunteered a little bit, like, at long-term care homes playing cards and that kinda stuff. That was, again, time that just held me back on that, but I think those are the, big ones.
Yeah, but like you said, is sports was just
Easy,
easy,
yeah.
aside from
I'm not good at it, I'll be honest, like, especially since my knees cracked.
no, but I think this is where, like, I think you and I and a few people talked to, even my partner, we're of the same boat, and we're trying to help her to understand that it doesn't always have you know, do you enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it'd be nice to get a basket or score a goal or even win. Did you enjoy the camaraderie? Like, think of it from a bigger scope, right? And I think that's
I
something she's still grappling with.
I agree with you, but I think there's different ways of getting it. For example, with my daughter, she doesn't like team sports. She's
Mhm.
not a competitive person. She's more okay with individual sports. She loves swimming, she loves rock climbing, she loves gymnastics.
Mm.
She loves there's one new one that she was talking about joining, but I can't remember. Oh, cross country running. She likes those one because she can just compete with herself.
Mm.
What she doesn't like is, like, team sport because she's like, I don't know how to kick the ball." And I'm like, "Well, they'll teach you how to do that, right?" Like, we play soccer with my son and her. But the thing is that I tried to find her some other way of getting that. What she's doing is musical theater,
Yes.
right? And to me, that's a team sport.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Like, it's
At least our club is a team sport.
well,
No?
I don't think all clubs require you to work together in the same way,
Give me
right?
an example. I can't think off the top of my head.
Of a club,
That doesn't require you to work together.
4-H,
What's that?
it's like a country thing.
Like what? Oh,
You it's called Healthy Hands. It's basically different things you do
okay.
and, like, you create crafts and stuff. It's very similar to Girl Guides.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I don't think you really like, that's not a team sport per se. Like, there's team
There's
components
the
to it,
component, yeah.
but it's not really a team sport.
I wonder if that's part of it because, like, when we try to get our daughter to Girl Guide, she didn't take it to the first time, and she's like, "I don't like it. I don't know anyone." I'm like, "You have to keep showing up,
Yeah.
go to your comfort zone, and connect with these people." And then when moms at school said, "Oh, by the way, two of my daughter's friend are going to this location. Do you want to try?" And she was at the stage, and she still is, where, like, I wanna know somebody, and when I get there, I don't need to stay with them, but just knowing a familiar face helps her ease into whatever something new that she would do. And at first, it seemed okay, but afterwards, she's like, "I don't like this." And I'm like, "What don't you like?" She's like, "I barely talk to my friends. They're in their own world, doing their own thing, and I don't really connect with all the other girls." I'm like, "Why not?" Right? It's interesting in that regard. Now she's in organized sports, like, she's joining all the school team sports. And the thing we're struggling with her is she took to soccer naturally. It's kinda gone to her head that she's really good, and I even gave her the option. I said, "You know, you're actually really good. Would you like to try to go to a much higher level?" She's like, No, mommy, I don't like to compete competitively at a much higher. I just wanna enjoy it." I don't know where it came from because I think there's this pressure to perform or do even more than what it is. And so she even like in jujitsu, she's really good, but it's always kicking and screaming to go. I think she enjoyed it more because it was a smaller group compared to karate. Karate, I think it was brief, but there was always a rotation, a different teacher. And then we hit COVID and everything was virtual. She's just like, It's too performative. Like, you're just doing a lot of very ceremonial gesture, whereas jujitsu, you're actually wrestling with someone to see the effects of the result. And you're
You do eventually start sparring in karate, but I think it takes a while.
Yeah, whereas, like, with jujitsu, you spar right away, right? And
That's why I don't want my kid to go in that.
her instructor had said, "Would you like to compete in the tournament?" She's like, "No." I don't know. We've never said anything to her, but she intuitively knows, like, I don't want to go.
I think some people are just not competitive. Like, I'm not a competitive person. I did compete in things,
Mm.
but I'm not a competitive person. Like, I don't care per se if I win or lose. I would say the place where I'm the most competitive is curling, but I was really good at curling. And I did do their intermediate. I'm not as good at because my knee's gone, but I did like win like the zones or something for my area for
But is
my
that just
sister.
you, uniquely you, or your brother or even other players?
My brother was really, really competitive and really good at like hockey and a few other sports, baseball too.
At what point did you recognize that you just enjoyed the sport for what it is rather than, like, this whole
Very early on, like skating, when my mom would just take me to go on the ice and skate. Like honestly, if I just skated for hours, I would love it. I'm not now, 'cause my knee. But I don't think there's anything wrong with not being competitive and not, like, caring if you like, again, a good example is got really, really good and was, like, belaying when she was, like, 6 on, like, rock climbing, which is pretty young to learn how to belay, and she knew how to do it, and she's doing great. And then the person said, "Oh, we do, like, rock climbing competitions. Would Kaden wanna do it?" And I was like, "No."
My older sister is very competitive, like, growing up, I was the academic, and she was, like, just naturally talented. Put her in any sport, she just was top tier. And so for her, I think psychologically, it was her leverage, like, in terms of, like, validation of your sense of
Yeah.
self-worth. And I kinda get that, but whereas I didn't see it that way, like, it didn't matter to me if I didn't do well. Like, yeah, I was good at certain sports, but I never felt like I had to compete with this person to prove my sense of self-worth in sports in that regards. If we lost, yeah, it kinda sucked, but, like, kinda like you, I like the rallying around and just a team building and camaraderie and getting to know, like, a lot of people.
Yeah. I look forward to, like, I don't know, there's, like, lawn bowling down the street from us, so, like, I would love to do lawn bowling. You still get the camaraderie and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know, and so
Which I have done lawn bowling. I did it with
yeah,
my grandma and
I haven't tried it. I thought because when we go there for the dog park, all I see is, like, seniors. I'm like, "Is it just seniors or kinda like anybody can join?"
yeah.
And then one point I saw, like, a bunch of, like, a younger group, join it. They're out in the lawn goofing around, like, "Okay, maybe that's something to consider." She's at the stage where I think because she took to soccer so naturally, she goes into every single sport with this high expectation that she should do well, and when she doesn't, she's just really hard on herself.
Well,
And I'm like, not everybody is like a natural, like"
yeah. My son is actually pretty good at athlete too.
with your kids, do you have a collaborative effort with them? Be like, "Do you wanna join sports?"
Sort of. I give the option sorry, for my daughter, but I'm very strict on what that will be. Swimming is not a choice.
It's a life skill.
Yeah, our kids are all gonna learn swimming. Because I have 2 kids, it just makes it harder. We don't wanna have our lives just being taxi drivers. Like, that was my partner's mom, and I, like, good on her, but we just don't have time to do that. Plus, I hate driving. I have huge anxiety with driving. I know you know somebody in your life like that.
Oh, no, I used to be like that.
Okay.
I will tell you as someone who grew up in the city and everyone in my family knew to drive, including my sisters who started when they could legally learn to drive. I just I was happy, content taking the transit, and I think it wasn't the only reason why I had to keep renewing my G1 was for ID purpose.
Mhm.
I didn't know you can get, like, an ID card
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
independent of the G1, so I didn't wanna carry my passport around, and then I think it was in my early 30s that I got my G2. I actually failed twice. The first instructor, I think it was, like, after the first fail, I called and his wife was like, "Oh, he retired," and I told my mom that, and she's like, "No, he's messing with you. He probably doesn't want you back." I was like, "That's all you know what I mean?" Like, and then the second instructor was even worse, and then it was time to get my G, and I failed again. I said, I'm done after this," and my mom's like, "No, please," she's trying to guilt me. She's like, "What if we get old and we need to drive you ar" I'm like, "I'll call you a taxi and Uber. I don't wanna be behind the wheel, right?" She took the time to just, cause she's an anxious driver, she patiently sat with me in the vehicle and just kinda give me a heads up, like, "The light's coming up, it's turning red, start slowing down." I appreciate all those little whereas my instructors, it was literally, "Go on the highway, just
Mhm.
drive," and I'm like, "I don't know the mechanics and you're asking me." See,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I would always get severe anxiety just leading up to the driving lesson, and after I passed, I didn't even think I'd passed my G, and then I met my husband, he's from Barrie. I started driving, I'm like, "Okay, I can get to Barrie, it's just a straight drive. It's not like going on the 401." And I think I did enough time that it's just muscle memory. But I still had anxiety, and he would feel it all the time, and it wasn't until I started antidepressant that I thought that was, like, a game changer for me. Otherwise, I would every time I got into a vehicle, anxiety would just ramp up.
Yeah, my anxiety is horrible. I hate it so much. It's not perfect. It was way better than it was.
Yeah.
Some do put us in danger sometimes, like, because 'cause they'll be like,
Yeah,
late," and I don't mean to. It's not them. They are a very good driver and, like, grew up in suburbia, like, very used to driving. It's all me, and it's gotten worse as I have gotten kids because the
yeah.
idea of,
Same.
like
He ever since we've got had dogs.
I was pretty good with my first kid because my first kid, I was primarily responsible for dropping them off at our daycare because their daycare was kinda far away. Not that far, but far enough where I just had to drive every day. I'll be honest, there's, like, things coming up now, like Park Best, Northland, Transit, like, they're like trains, like, yeah, it costs a little bit more, but does it? Gas and stuff? But anyway, but with sports, with competitive sports,
Yes.
you have to drive.
Yes.
And I was just like, "I don't wanna do this." Then putting that all on my partner would be unfair. Which I don't know if that makes it unfair for my children, but honestly, I don't think it does. It's not like my kids are gonna be the next Wayne Gretzky. Now, if somebody came up to me and said, like, one of them has the talent of something like that, then we would have that conversation and figure out how to potentially make it work, but I don't see it personally.
So
Like,
what about your son? Does he enjoy the competitive,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, but I think that's the second child syndrome. Oh, yeah, every second child I've met so far.
I'm a second child, I don't have
I know you don't have it. I don't know what happened with you.
Yeah, I'm an anomaly. I'm an anomaly where when people talk to me about, like, competitive sport, I'm like, "Hey."
But most second children I've met, like, I'm the youngest, so I don't have it. My brother was the second.
Second maybe it's second youngest, 'cause
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, 'cause I know
Oh, you're not the there's 4 of you or 3 of
3, I'm the middle, I'm the second, but the oldest and the youngest are very competitive in
you?
everything.
Maybe they're competitive against each other, I don't know.
I think it's this basically, in an Asian culture household, nothing you do is ever good enough, and you better, like, go aim, like, even higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
Whereas I kinda accepted that, but I think I didn't associate it with sports. I've just attached it to, like, academia.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know, like, I just for me, I was never a competitive person, and I continue not to be.
well, you like, do you watch any of the sports teams or that you follow?
Well, not since probably the pandemic, because the pandemic kinda changed that, but
Prior to kids?
oh, I used to watch a lot of hockey. Like, I watched Edmonton. Edmonton's my favorite team now, Edmonton Oilers. I know I have a Boston's Red Sox hat, but I'd actually cheer for the Blue Jays. I just like that this has flowers on it.
I didn't notice Miss Boston until you told me the B, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then I always laugh because my son and my, daughter don't really know what the B stands, so they just think it's Baba. Perfect. I like the Blue Jays. I grew up watching baseball with my mom. Like, I kinda cycle through a little bit. Like, now they're all overpaid, if I was to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm just kinda like
But do you only watch, like, is it just, like, the hockey, male hockey, or do you watch, like
oh, I like PWHL. I've been watching some of their stuff, specifically Toronto. I hate their name, but just called
what's PWL? Just feel
the Professional Women's Hockey League.
okay.
Yeah, but I do watch them, and then I don't know, I think everybody's overpaid, what makes it hard, and I'll probably try to go to a Temple game.
Yeah, that came up. I didn't even know that we had a WNBA tour came back from a Raptors game 2 weeks ago, and ran into one of our neighbor, and he mentioned, he's like, "Oh, Toronto's getting a WNBA." I'm like, "When?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's Serena Williams, the owner." I was like, "Oh, part owner with
Yeah.
former Raptors manager." But
I think aren't they part of MLSE? I thought they were.
I didn't look into it, but, like, some of their games are showcased 'cause Matt wants to go to one of their game, but, with one of the top WNBA player that he really likes.
Christine Carr.
Yeah, but he's like, it's stupidly, like, a scalper price now.
Oh, that'll change though. It's
Yeah.
supposed to go down as of, like, the end of
But they also play at the Coca-Cola,
yeah, same as
that's
PWHL, yeah.
but then, like, sometimes they'll play at the Scotiabank for, I guess, like, the high profile games. I wanna expose our daughter to it just to see, like, "Look, we've gone to a male game. I
Yeah.
wanna show you that women are just as baddies as the men." Because when I took her to a TFC game, because in the beginning, she took to soccer last year. I said, "Okay, for your birthday, do you wanna watch the women's play or the men's play?" She's like, "Where's the women playing?" I said, "York University." "Where's the men's playing?" We ended up going to the TFC game, and then when the women's final was at BMO Field, I said, "Do you wanna go to that one?" She's like, "Sure." I said, "I want you to see, like, how women play. They're just as capable." I'm trying to expose her to, like, sports, but in from different genders so she can appreciate that. But, yes, men are good, but women are just as capable,
Yeah.
right? Have you taken your kids to see any of the sports?
I finally took him to Marley's game, and they lost horribly. He was so bored.
It's just bad though, like, I can't imagine.
Well, he also, I think, still thinks everybody's Canada. He's like,
That's
"Which
fair.
team is Canada?" And I'm like, "There's no Canadian team." And he doesn't really understand that it's different cities.
Yeah,
Like, geography's 5.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Well, those are the big ones.
What about, like, FIFA coming up, like, the World Cup? Do you think you'll be following it with
Mm,
chance?
my first thought when FIFA was coming, I was like, "I really wish we could move out of our house and rent our house because we would make a fortune."
Yeah, Airbnb.
Airbnb, we needed for people to rent.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were desperate for people in Toronto to rent, and they were gonna pay you $1,000 to add your listing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
because they can't, like, it's fact, and, like, people are gouging. I wouldn't gouge, I would
no.
just do
Yeah, just
normal price. But I was just like, "We make a killing because there's, like, how many games in Toronto? Anyways, we aren't that hard to get. It's actually we're kind of in a great location because, like,
if you drive down, it's
you
easy.
drive down if it's easy, but if you don't wanna drive and you wanna
Cost,
yeah, but it's also just kinda nice because, like, you're a little bit removed from the chaos that would be downtown.
yes.
I think it's a great location for the games. Going to and from. That was my first thing with the FIFA coming. I will say, like, my partner really gets into it. They are Italian Japanese, like, they really get into it. I think FIFA this year has kind of got a problem with the United States hosting. I don't know. We'll see how that all fizzles out or
Your partner, which team is she rooting for?
well, Italy's not in it.
They didn't make it. But she
Japan?
not only root for either Japan or Italy?
Yeah, I think Canada because Canada's there. I think we'll watch some of the games on TV because
Mm.
I wanna expose my kids to it. But I also just hate FIFA, to be perfectly honest. They're the biggest corrupt.
Yeah. Every person I've interviewed about the World Cup has said another friend, he went to the Qatar World Cup and he said the finals cost him $1,700. Whereas the going rate for just a regular game here, it's so stupid. And it's not even like a big attraction team,
You
right?
know, that's a whole Ontario problem. That's not necessarily a FIFA problem.
Mm.
My issue, though, is I just think it could be done better in general.
Yes.
I just think, like, the whole way in which FIFA takes your money and, like, and the way in which the bidding has happened, the fact they even had a World Cup in the Qatar, like, I'm not judging, like, Qatar, like, per se, like, a country is a country, but, like, it's just I don't know, it always feels all, like, squirmy, if that makes sense, right? Like, I know people that have worked on the Olympics, for example, and there's this one place in Vancouver that had cement pad in front of the it was very normal cement pad, like, it was kind of a sculpture in front of the hotel that all the dignitaries from IOC were gonna sit. Some winter games, but they made them put grass down, and it died, obviously, 'cause it's cement, but they wanted it to look nice for these it's just such a waste, it's like yeah, I don't know, and I'm just kind of grown away from, like,
Commercialized sport or just big
commercialized but stuff, right? Like, I thought about it in my head, I was like, "I'd love to get my kids a Canadian jersey," but why? Like, they don't even care for baseball. I mean, sorry, soccer. Like, even baseball, though, too. I thought of getting them Blue Jays jerseys. I ended up borrowing a friend's Blue Jays jersey when I went to the World Series.
Yeah, and that's okay. Maybe that's a smarter thing.
I just, like because I'm never gonna wear it on a daily basis. Why have it, right?
Same.
Like, I bought this hat because I love hats, and I don't cheer for Boston.
That's why sometimes when I'm shopping for even at the thrift store, like, baseball hat, I'm like, I know it's like people wear it for the aesthetic, but other people wear it for the team, and I'm like, I don't want them to have a conversation with me about this team because I have no interest in the team. I don't wear it.
Like, I have a Blue Jays one, but it's because it's monochromatic, and I really like it, but, like, but it's not, like I bought it because I like the hat.
Yeah, not
No well, I like Blue Jays.
yeah,
I don't even
I know it's a
yeah.
different level, right?
It's like, I just and I'm not sure what FIFA is gonna do for Toronto.
No, I agree with you. I think it's like back
I wouldn't wanna go to that stadium right now because it looks like it's gonna fall apart.
okay, so when I was there 2 weeks last week for the Canada-Tunisia game, I thought the game was gonna be canceled because the way it was raining. And it was mostly, I'd say 3/4 Tunisian fan and a quarter was Canadian fan, and I was, like, imagining myself, I'm like, "Okay, if this was, like, a packed stadium Tunisian fan, you could tell the vibe was just so different from the Canadian fans were just, like they're cheering, but it was just, like, a different atmosphere." And everybody said the same thing about, like, those bleacher and maybe I don't wanna generalize because the way I was feeling about it was, like, when we went to watch Blackpink last summer,
Oh, yeah,
they built the stadium for Blackpink, but I think
it's
because
still there.
but it's surrounding, so it doesn't look as destabilizing, whereas, like, this is, like, an attachment to an existing stadium. And even with not the stadium filled, rain, the chaos that we were experiencing, like, the amount of rain that was coming down the pipe was gonna burst. It was just like, you know, and 10 women stall, and 8 of them were not working.
Mm.
And, like, this is just a regular game. If this fails
I'm hoping they have
better standard, yeah.
well, also, I'm hoping they have L houses, to be honest, like, something like that, the same way they have for other things. That's what they did for Pan Am Games, right?
Did you go on to the Pan any of the Pan Am games?
Yeah.
I think they're at least with Pan Am game, maybe it's a smaller scale, like,
Yeah, it's a small
okay, I get the Olympic bid, to be honest with you, that Beijing guy, because
I think in
that's
that year, that would have been okay because it wasn't it 98?
it was the 2008 Olympic,
Oh, it was 2008. I think that would have been okay. I actually think Toronto getting it would have been better than Beijing because Beijing was the start of, like, blowing everything up, and that's why Sochi won, and that's why all these other countries that just, like, spent way too much money and, like, again, built infrastructure that just
if it's
fails.
abandoned later on, that's what's
Yeah, I think, that is okay, if that makes sense, but I do hope that if Canada was to bid for it again, they would just reuse stuff we already have or share it with other parts of Canada,
I
like
like the Pan Am game, like, I think we just modernized the one swimming facility, but we use,
no,
existing
we didn't.
no?
We built 3 different structures, the Scarborough Pan Am Center, but everything's being reused, the Markham Center
Yes.
and the one in, Milton, the one at the Velodrome. Those were all new centers, but they're all being used to this day. They're all owned by the municipality and being used. You got state-of-art facilities for the games, but because they didn't have to be built to the same degree or the same bigness, they are actually being used. Whereas, like, if you go in, like, Brazil and they built that place for FIFA in the middle of Amazon, it's never gonna be used again because no one's gonna go there, and it's too big for their local soccer.
Yes. I guess you can segue into, like, the final question, which is what is your hope and vision for future of just sports in some clubs or just sports club general? What would you like to see change or
I don't think we need them. I know it's entertaining and I like it, but I also don't think we need it. I don't know if that makes sense.
you mean need in the sense of, like, paid or more of
Like, I don't know if anybody needs to be making $20 million. Is that part of it? We didn't even talk about drugs in sports, but, like, I have issues with that. But I'm also like, if people wanna alter their bodies to, like, make them good at it, like, go ahead and do, right? Like, let's give an example of Michael Phelps, right? Michael Phelps is built to be a swimmer,
yes.
right? And you can make the same argument for some of those soccer players.
Yes.
Like, Messi was built to be a soccer player. Even if they took altering drugs, they'll still be good. Like, they would have been good without them, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, let people cheat. Like, I just like, I think there's very few sports that even if you just take drugs, you're gonna be the best. You have to still train. Like, even all those people in Russia that cheated for all those years, they still had to train.
Right.
But I think you still have to be cognizant of, like, are they being forced to or not and stuff like that. I don't care if people cheat. That stuff doesn't really bug me. As for the future of sport, I just want it to be fun. Again, I'm not competitive. Like, none of that stuff is
Yeah.
big deal. Again, I did go World Series this year. I loved it. It was the first game of the World Series. So it was the one that Toronto, like, blew them out. And I really did like that feeling of being at that stadium at that time because it just brought the city together, and I think the city really needed it at that time because it was after the election. Everybody was upset, and there was a lot of divisiveness, and I don't know if you noticed, but that seems to be not as grand right now
In
in
our city?
yeah.
Because of the World Series?
I don't think it's World Series. I think it's, the new leader of the country. I think, though, at that time, these kind of events do help that, in my opinion.
Yes.
They bring the country together,
Yes. I think that's one of the things I've observed in sport is
whatever it is.
when especially on a grand scale like that, like whether especially when playoffs, it's like we can check our differences
Mhm.
at the door and we can rally together for this one common shared interest and that's a beautiful experience. I wish that could have continues outside of sports.
I think it does, though, to a degree. I
Yes,
think
right.
it
It's
just
just
doesn't
not
last.
yeah, or maybe not on that large of a scale.
And sometimes it doesn't last. Like, it seems to dissipate over time.
Like, as you said, it's
Yeah.
seasonal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on what it is in my life. I think what I remember when I was reading Abby Wambach's book and she was talking about the year she was retiring, Kobe Bryant was retiring too.
Yeah,
And she went to the ESPN
yeah.
and she said, you know, what was the difference when she got off the stage and he got off the stage? He got off the stage and he went home to like $1 million contract, you know, really bougie lifestyle. And
Well, he died, though.
yes. Well, I mean, but it was more of like,
Because of his bougie lifestyle, he died.
but then she gets off the stage and she's like wondering, like, how is she going to survive financially? Like,
Yeah.
soccer has been her life. It's, in professional sports, where I observed that too, that their identity is just so tied into that sport that when they leave, like,
Yeah.
they have a hard time.
But I also kind of wonder, like, why don't we create a new option? I've thought of this a lot. Like, if you talk about, because I have a different opinion when it comes to trans in sports. I actually don't agree with a trans person being, like, in, like, the male. Like, if you're a trans man, I don't think you should be with men. And if you're a trans woman, I don't think you should be trans with the women. And it's not about whether or not they have a competitive advantage, because I actually honestly don't think they do. But it's more that I almost feel you need a new group where it's just everybody, right? Right? Like, and everybody will be like, "Oh, the men will do better." I'm like, "So?" But I also don't think if you still have a male group and a woman group, and then you have an everybody group, I don't think the men that compete against men will want to go to the everybody group
Yes.
because they'll think, "Oh, I'm too good for that." Right? And then if you think of the women, they might not want to because, like, there might be men in there that could beat them, right? I think the everybody group becomes this group that just
It's universal
right? Like,
rather than generalizing.
I don't it's like people talk to me this about because I do identify as non-binary, and people always ask me about it, but I think people are always surprised by my response. I understand that this is a thing.
Yes.
but I don't think it needs to be as big of a thing as people are making it out to be, and I don't really think there's a lot of trans athletes that are fighting to be able to compete. There is a few, don't get me wrong, but many of them aren't, and I don't know if it gives the competitive advantages everybody else thinks it is. There's all like, yeah, if we're gonna make that argument, let's go look at, Messi. Messi has a lower center of gravity that makes him better at soccer. Should he be not allowed to play soccer? Right?
Even like Michael Jordan, I know Matt was talking about, like, Matt was saying that he has extremely big hands. He can clear, yeah, palms it.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Michael Phelps, like, he has the wingspan of, like, I forget what
lung
er
capacity too.
yeah, he has both, right? There's a few bike racers, I can't remember who they are, but they also have lung capacity. But I guess my theory behind this is, like, our certain bodies also have a competitive advantage, and how is that any different,
Yes.
right?
Gotta scrutinize it.
Like, let's scrutinize everything. Yeah, and everything. Like, if we want normal people to compete against normal people, then let's make sure they're normal. They're all, like, the average height with the average length. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like, men's average height, I think, is 5'9". Let's make sure every man is 5'9". Women's average height is 5'4", 5'5".
5'4", yeah.
Let's make sure every 5'4", 5 it's only 5'4", 5'5", and let's make sure they have size 6 feet. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to see average people competing against average people, then that's what you kinda have to do, right? Does having more testosterone in your body probably help certain, women athletes? Yes, but we as women, or women bodies, because I am not a woman, but as with women bodies, usually do naturally have testosterone in us,
Yes, we do.
and there's some people that just have more,
Yes.
right? That makes them stronger, and there's some people that have less, and that makes them not as strong. But that doesn't mean that the person that has more should be banned.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Because
Because
they go down to the microscopic level and subject them to
yep,
different.
and there's some men that have less and some men that have more, right? Like, 'cause they also, I think I forget which one they have. They either have estrogen or progesterone. They have one of them,
Yeah.
and naturally occurring in their
Well, are we just zooming in on just a selective group rather than
yeah.
just going broad?
Because the other thing people I don't think understand is when a trans woman starts taking estrogen and progesterone, it actually, like, damages their testosterone. And when a trans man starts taking testosterone, it can actually make them more competitive to compete with the man. And I don't think people even thought about it because that's not the people they get mad at. They get mad at the trans women. And I'm like, well, the trans man, he's basically taking steroids. Like, I know it's a different thing, but it can make them stronger than men, especially if already have the body type
Yes.
that aligns to that. So I don't know. And then, like, what is considered normal? Again, we're going back to that question, right?
Your normal is not my normal. Okay,
Yeah.
the vegan, are we gonna?
Well, the range of what acceptable hormones are is huge, right?
Yeah, I hear you on that one. A lot to think about. I think it's interesting that you and I we share the common view of, like, we just enjoy the sport for the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a big sport watcher. I used to, like, watch a lot of, like, the Toronto leagues, like hockey and baseball. Like, after the World Series, I was done. Basketball was only, like, Matt took an interest to. He's always liked the Raptors. I'm like, "Okay, they're in the playoff, I'll watch it." But other than that, like, if you ask me to watch sport, I have no desire. Unless my daughter's focus is, like, I need to watch this team, then I'll support her. But otherwise, if you ask me to watch something, I'll be like, "Yeah."
My kids are in sleep by bed before any game starts.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, even when we're watching the soccer game, I understand basic principle. I can't tell what is a real dive, a fake dive,
No.
honestly, like, I'm just like, whereas basketball is it's pretty straightforward. Like, you're shooting, and then there's the missed foul call, but I think that's more recognizable than whereas soccer when I'm watching, I don't know if this is, like, part of the game or.
I like soccer. Funnily enough, which my partner discovered with me during the World Series, is I actually know most of the rules of most of the games. Like, she was shocked by that. I know how to play rugby sevens. Like, I know the rules for rugby sevens. I don't know the rules for rugby. I know the rules for field hockey, I learned the rules for handball because it was fun to watch during the Olympics. Like, hockey, soccer, baseball. Like, she was shocked on how much of the baseball rules because she was at the World Series with me, and then she was like, "Oh, I didn't know you knew all this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Like, I play baseball."
Yeah. But playing baseball and knowing the rules of baseball, whereas I think, like, professional sports, they've kinda changed the rule, like, I stopped following the
Yeah, well, that's new. That was
yeah,
last year.
just to speed up the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one was coming to the games.
Thank you for coming. Until next time, stay curious and stay connected.